now, without further ado, I have the distinguished honor and privilege of presenting to you the Queen of Color, the Mother of Artists, globally acclaimed, award-winning master acrylic artist, and the star of our show, Ginger Cook, as she once again mesmerizes her audience with the daring do's and don'ts of painting with acrylics. You know what?
What, we're not on? There's no
We're
sound?
on, but we didn't have our mics unmuted from Sammy's intro. So, should we go back?
No.
Should we rewind?
Are we not? Nobody can hear us?
Oh, they can now.
But they couldn't when? Just a second ago?
They couldn't hear you.
Hello, you beautiful
your whole
people.
Intro.
Hello, you beautiful people. We're back. We're back.
Yeah, start there.
You know, and are we going to have a great show? And say yes and yes. Honestly, right. John, I think about this stuff, and you muted me. You do this all the time.
Do you think it's subconscious? Do you think it's a Freudian slip?
Freudian?
Freudian?
Yes.
I think it is.
I think it is. I mean, honestly, because it happens a lot. I mean,
it does.
You know, a couple of times it's an accident, 3 or 4 times, and you're thinking coincidence. Okay, here's the thing. We are going to be painting this. Let me hold it up. This cute church. But here's the caveat. You guys, this wouldn't have to be a church. I want you to know that everything started out as a box, and then they named it something, sometimes by how they painted it. If this were red, and it had a bell in the tower, it could be a schoolhouse. Okay?
That's true.
If you left the steeple off, okay? If you left the steeple off and you added some stones, it could be just an old winter cottage. So you're not, for instance, let me show you this. This is a painting that we have on YouTube. If you haven't done this painting, let me hold it up here like this, see? Now you notice that we know that's a barn because it's brown. A lot of times why we say something is because the color we make it. That's what it's, you know, that kind of identifies it. It's like, for instance, you know, you'll have the same word in English might mean 2 different things, but how you use it in the sentence identifies which meaning you want. Well, sometimes how you identify a building just by its color and a few architectural details suddenly goes from a church to a barn to an old cottage. So those of you who want to make this something else, use your imaginations, and if I would suggest if you wanted to make it an old schoolhouse, Google pictures of an old schoolhouse so that maybe there's a little slight difference to the belfry. You can make a bigger tower. But we're going to go ahead and create the whole painting. We've started off with a canvas like this. It's just a 9x12 canvas, and we painted it dark, either ultramarine blue or phthalo blue, doesn't matter, and it's dry. Okay, that's what we started with. And if you hear, you know, a little kind of a twang in my voice, both John and I are getting over some pretty good colds. I went to the doctor today. He says I have bronchitis, but I have medicine now.
Ooh, drugs.
Yes. So, all right. So, John, one of the things we want to just remind everybody is if you're new to our channel, did you know about 50% of the viewers on anybody's channel do not subscribe to the channel? And we're asking you.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's true. And so what we're going to ask you to do is just in the holiday spirit, nobody sends you any bills. Some people think they get charged or something, like a magazine subscription. What garbage. You just hit the little subscribe button. There's a little bell underneath it if you want to be notified when we do live shows, okay? So anyway, that's what I'm going to suggest you do. In the meantime, and someone's going to say, is there traceable for this? My friends, it's a box. Probably not, but I'm going to take
that as a no?
No. I'm going to take you through this step by step because I think that you are perfectly capable of drawing a box. And let's move on with this, John. Let's go ahead and come on down. This is going to take probably a good hour.
Wait.
What?
Wait. Something's not moving. Some camera's in the wrong spot.
Oh. Can you see my fingers? Waving on the iPad?
It's moving on the camera up there, but it's not moving in my computer down here.
Interesting. Well, we had a computer die. Here's what happened to us, you guys. We had one of our major, big, fancy, really best computer died. I mean, like, majorly, you know, the blue screen of death, right? And so John has jury-rigged it up with our laptop this evening. So hopefully you're able to recover this, are you?
Well, yeah. Right now you're going to see a little black as I'm trying to get the camera to resync.
Now, no thumbs down with the black. John's trying to resync the camera, you guys, to give you the best possible quality video. This is what we want you, to know. In the meantime, some stuff has come up as far as what we've been doing over the, last month. We were able to go to Cuba. And I have to say that was one of the highlights of my, traveling experience, was being able to see Cuba. John got a lot of photographs of Cuba, the city of Havana. We're going to have some beautiful paintings. And I'm telling you what, we rode around in one of those nifty old cars. And that was just so cool. We actually had a tour. And the guy that owned the car had it for, over 20 years.
Yeah. And
he said it took him 5 full years to restore it. And in Cuba, apparently, at least today, in December 2017, owning an automobile is only permitted if it becomes a taxi for a private citizen. Yeah, if we want a car, it's now a taxi. Interesting. And so when we got this tour, we had our choice of which car we wanted to ride, and luckily we got one of the drivers that spoke excellent English, and he really gave us the lowdown. And something that I did not know, and I'm going to share while you're syncing. Let me know when you're syncing. I can get back to the painting, right? Something that I did not know was that I would have figured that, cigars or sugarcane or something like that would have been the major export of Cuba. And it turned out, he was explaining that it's medicine. When Fidel Castro apparently took over, the country some 60 years ago, about 10% of the population could read. And now 98% of the population reads and writes, and everyone goes to school. It's mandatory. And if somebody wants to become a doctor or lawyer, for instance, that's fine, as long as they, their grades are kept up and so forth. They'll put everybody free of charge through medical school. But in today's economy right now, a doctor makes like $40 a month. But what he did tell us, which was very interesting when visiting Cuba, was that, and now I checked with my doctor today when I went to see him for about my bronchitis, and he just sort of rolled his eyes in the back of his head. So take this for what it's worth. But what everybody seems to believe in Cuba is that they have a complete cure for lung cancer, and they're working on other cancers. And
which would make sense since they're contributing to the cause with their cigars.
With the cigars. Anyway, I thought that was very interesting. Apparently Canadians are allowed to visit Cuba anytime they want, and they say that there's a whole group of Canadians that just spend the winters there because the climate's very nice. Cuba's 90 miles south of Key West. So just be about like hanging out in Florida for the winter, except everybody speaks Spanish. Well, they do in Florida too, but I'm just saying, that's what it was. And we also got to see Key West, and that was really beautiful. And I'm happy to report that even though it had some terrific hurricane damage in Key West, they seem to be very recovered from it. And what a beautiful place that was too. We had Thanksgiving in Key West. I hope everybody had a nice Thanksgiving. Are we back up yet?
No, we are not.
As you get the tour from me?
Very disturbing because it worked great moments ago.
Well, can we just switch to the palette cam and forget the palette cam?
No, we can't.
Interesting.
Thank you for asking, though.
Well, I'm asking. Well, I guess you get another story, right? One more story, we'll give it a go.
More.
Our other computer is supposed to be fixed by tomorrow. John's got how many more hours of defragging or something on it?
Oh, here we go. I got her.
You got it?
I've got to come. There we go. Here, see?
Oh my gosh, you got the Cuba story. Well, maybe you needed to hear this.
Hear what?
about somebody may need to hear that story about the lung cancer. Maybe they have somebody that has it. And you know what I mean? Maybe, I'm just saying.
It might be worth a trip to Cuba.
The
interesting thing is, on the trip back from Cuba, which is only 90 miles, it took us 30 hours to do it. They had to use up time.
Yeah. Okay.
So it took 30 hours to make a 90-mile trip.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about this. I want to get right down to the business of drawing this in. We've started with a 9x12 canvas, right? Here's our picture. You can kind of see that, right?
I have a picture for them.
Right, also, but I just want you to see, I want to just talk about, here's my chalkboard. As I sit here, reach for it, fell down. Okay. I want to just talk about the chalkboard for a minute because one of the things that seems to, just to ease your mind.
Wait a sec, wait.
Are we not back?
No, we're back, but the echo's back because the camera. Okay, echo will be gone now.
Okay.
We had to do that earlier.
I don't know that.
Oh, echo, be quiet back there.
All right, so I want you to imagine the letter A. Everybody's good with that? All right, if this was all right, now we're going to come under the letter here like this with the letter H without the cross piece, right? Now we're going to come along like this, put a straight line. Now here's where people screw up houses. You're not going to screw it up because I've explained it. I explain it, right? So I want this line here, this diagonal line here, and this diagonal here to be twins. This line and this line are twins, and then it does this, okay? And it does that. Now that is basically a simple house. Now that's all this is. Yeah, but you said it was another one. Well, yeah, okay, so now then I want you to remember that we've got another A right here. You with me? Another A, a little bit higher than the roof, okay? Now we're going to come this way. You with me? Now this line and this line are twins. Like this, down, down, down. Okay? Got snow, snow, snow. Everybody's with me? Now, okay, so we're going to say that the steeple is this tall, so let's just make a straight line, right? And we're going to say this is curving out here like this. Everybody can make an arrow, right? Okay? Then you're going to come straight down with a little box, and then down with a slightly bigger box.
You just box on box with a
box
triangle.
On box, like a cake, right? And up it goes. Okay? Now, suppose you didn't want it to be a church. Okay? It's easy. Church gone. Here's chimney. Okay? I want you to think about that. Maybe it's a double chimney here. Something like that. You know, maybe you're going to say it's a double chimney, a little bit fancier chimney than you had because it's a big house or whatever, right? And maybe you've got stones, right? You know, coming up partially in stuff, you know, part of it's stone instead of instead of the way that I've painted it. So you're not locked in here, guys, to anything. This is what being an artist is. I'm going to come up about halfway, come down here like this and make a line kind of this way. Then I want to start over here about, what is this, about hand over. Come on up here like this. I'm going to draw here's my A-frame. Okay? Like that. Here's my A-frame. Okay? Like this. I mean, it's a box, right? And remember, I told you, here's our other A. Okay? Like this. Okay, this is really simple. I know you can do this. I have confidence in you. You can make it a little longer if you need to. That's what chalk's for. You want to keep the eaves on the inside. Let's say up here's the top of my steeple. Like this. Okay? And I think I want to lower this just a hair. And just ignore me here because I want to show you how easy. I'm going to start with the steeple because I have to get that in here, right? Here's my steeple, like this, with my other box. One more box underneath it, okay? So that's got to be my A. It's got to be sitting right here like this. So now I'm going to just lower my house just a little bit, okay? So easy to do. And then the roof sits just a little bit higher than that, okay? I want you to see how easy it is to change anything. And this is just chalk. And could you just freehand this out on a piece of paper? Till you had it just the way you want it and then trace it on? Yeah. You know, the idea that one of the things we try to do is actually teach you to draw and paint. That's my job. It's fun to have projects, but it's good to know how to do this. And your mind is going to have no trouble with this, I promise you. You're going to get this easily. All right, so I'm going to say there's this, and then I've got something here. So basically, that's what we're painting. Now, this is just dark phthalo blue, all right? Now I want to put some colors out. We've got some real simple colors here. White, probably some mixing white later. We've got burnt umber, got cad yellow medium, cad red medium. Sure, I've got enough burnt umber out here. It's a very simple picture. It takes a little bit of time to do it, but not that much. We want both blues. We want ultramarine blue and phthalo blue. Phthalo blue is the color of the Pacific Ocean, and ultramarine blue is the color of the Atlantic, if you guys have trouble remembering which is which. And a little bit of cad red here. Here's yellow oxide, and don't need a lot of that. So this is kind of a fun painting. John, do we have any questions when I'm chatting here?
Yes, did it snow down here in Houston?
It did snow. John and I were cruising. We missed it. We were on a cruise. People say people say, how are you guys able to do that? One of the things is we look for deals. We look for the deals where it's almost you can't hardly afford to stay home. And the deal we got on, because of the hurricane, a lot of the ports were closed, and they offered this last cruise we were on for 50% off. And it was packed full of people who saw that they put that on sale for one day and it was gone. People go, oh my gosh, 50% off, I'm going, right? So, that's the kind of thing that's the kind of stuff that happens. And we find that if we can travel and see new places, we're inspired to paint, do things for you, and come up with great. Not only do we work every day on the ship, we just can just bring the office onto the ship. John brings the hard drives, he does the editing, we do all that stuff, and we bring it on. So right now I'm using a bright brush. This is probably a number. There's no number on this, but let me give you a wild guess. It's probably a 6. What does this one say? See if I was close. Put the glasses on. I don't know. Well,
Ginger, can we please have more snow paintings like this? Love the snow ones.
Yeah, we can. Sure. I just thought you were all sick of snow because you were living in snow, but I'm happy to do it.
Because we don't live in it.
We don't live in it, so it's good for me. All right. So what is this? It's about
looks like a half-inch.
Half-inch bright brush. Okay. And really, the numbers change from brand to brand. They're like lipsticks. So if a number in one brand of brush will mean diddly squat in another brand of brush.
Not diddly squat.
Diddly squat. Did you use
Robin Coate wanted me to remind you during a live show to give us tips for selling at bazaars and local sales.
Oh yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. The first thing you want to do before you start anything, and the genesis of this is Robin. It's a great question. Wow, Robin, I'm telling you what, that is such a great question. I think Robin's won the question of the day, and we just started. Robin, you've won yourself a free downloadable video, or
he's already a member, I think.
Well, you're already a member, but maybe you'd like to gift that to somebody. That's what you won, or a week of lessons, whatever. And I know, Robin, you're a member. Maybe there's somebody you want to give that to or something. Anyway, you won that. Thank you very much for that question. Because the thing is, how do I sell my paintings? First thing you want to do before you put a coat of blue on there is you want to write, this painting is sold.
Plain and simple.
Write that on there first. Now, as I'm doing this, let me show you. I'm taking some white. I'm going to wet the brush, tap it off on a towel, a little bit of white paint, little tiny bit like kryptonite of phthalo blue, like that, okay? Little tiny bit of burnt umber, just a touch. You could use raw umber. All right, now I'm going to come up here like this, and using the flat of my brush, just making circles, I'm going to come up here in the sky and do this, and I'm going to kind of sneak around my my building here like this, okay? Now I'm going to put a little bit more blue in this, and I'm going to add a touch of yellow, just a dab of yellow, cad yellow medium, And as I come over here, I'm going to warm up this blue. It's almost a blue-green color, okay? Now I've got too much water on the brush. I'm going to wipe it off because this does not work if there's any water on your brush. It can be damp, but that's it. Now more paint, a little more phthalo blue, a little more brown, a little bit more intense color. Let's come up here like this. This takes a couple layers. Now we're going to come down around here like this, just down around our house. And make sure that all your edges are blended out, like say blush on a person. You know how, sometimes you see older people, and certainly that hasn't happened to me, I hope, where they get, you see the rouge because they don't see well enough to blend it in. You don't want to be that person with your sky. You want to blend it in, just kind of work all around the edges. So, Robin, then what you want to do, and we talked about this because we actually met somebody, one of our followers, people that follow us on YouTube. We met a gal in Florida, and she was just going to a bazaar and selling her artwork. And I spent probably an hour talking to her and telling her what she could do to really help with the sales. And one of the things besides writing "this painting is sold" is have a variety of things that people can buy. Have some small pictures and some larger ones, okay? And also have some sort of raffle, all right? And what do you mean a raffle? Well, one of the things that you want is that you want to be able to follow up on the people that came to your show or your bazaar, so you want their email addresses. So one way to get that is to have a choice of, say, 3 things that somebody could win. And out of, say, 12 things, have like 12 small pictures, and then like you can win 3 of these, right? One of these 3, but they're in a collection, right? Some sort of collection of like 12, right? And then what you do is you get their email address, and you're going to have a drawing at the end of your show, however many days that is, okay? And the people generally say, then you say, first you say to them, this is important. I'm sorry, I'm trying to paint and think about this at the same time. So here's the deal. What you've got, we're just going to stop and tell you. What you've got to do then is people look at, you give them a choice of 3 things. Which one do you think you'd want to win? Well, now they're imagining that in their house, where they're going to put it. They're going to give it to Susie for a gift. Gosh, if I won that, Aunt Susie'd sure like it, but this would sure look good in my bathroom. And then finally it's, well, how much are these? I never win anything anyway. So chances are you've sold, a good 10, 15, maybe half the people might even buy something because they'll fill out the raffle, but they don't believe in the raffle. So you've stopped them long enough for a dialogue. Okay? Now what you've got to remember in any sales is that people do not care what you know till they know that you care. So don't try to sell them anything. Just talk to people, engage them in, do they like art? Are they collectors? Do they paint themselves? If they say, I'm an artist, get them out of your booth. I'm sorry, shove the art, have a friend. If you got 2 people in a booth, you really need 2 people in a booth because somebody's got to watch the stuff while you go to the bathroom. So get the other person to shuffle them out of the booth. You don't want to be talking to artists and explaining about your art techniques during a show. And artists will have a tendency to want to go up and talk to you. And it's nice to be admired and, get their information. If they want to call you on the phone later, that's great. But one of the things that happens, you see I'm going greener and greener with this. Do you see that as I go? I'm adding more yellow and blue to this, and I'm making this corner over here a little bit greener, kind of indicating some mystery plants that I'm not talking about over here. And I'm going to do the same thing over here on this side. Is that keep layering this. So that's one of the tricks. And I'm sorry because a lot of artists, it's fun to go to art shows, and one of the things as artists is don't bug the person selling. If you have the chance to go to an art show and they're in the middle of selling something, and it's one thing if somebody says you want to come up meet the artist for 5 minutes, don't engage them in a big dialogue about your art career, which is I know you're going to want to do, but don't. It's rude. It's really bad manners to do that. And the other thing is that that artist is looking for somebody to buy something. And unless you're a potential purchaser, that's not just nice, okay? So, all right, so I'm still with the white. You see that? I'm coming back with a little more of the blue here and more white. And I'm going to do a brighter blue here in the middle now.
Are you still on the Bazaar topic? Because I have a couple other questions regarding.
Well, I'm still on the Bazaar topic. And then the other thing you've got to do, this is important. You got the Bazaar going here, right?
Okay.
The other thing you've got to do is you got to have some sort of candy, something that's not going to melt. And do not put it at the entrance to your booth, but put it inside so they have to walk in to get it. And then, then this is a good way to dialogue with people. Oh my God, I'm so glad I was wondering, do you like that candy? I was debating whether to get that candy or not, because I was thinking about this, but then I thought, well, some people might be allergic to the nuts. Or, just have some sort of crazy conversation with people, get them talking, and then they'll start asking questions about your art, and the people, this is who you want to talk to, and get them telling you about the raffle. This way you've got you can invite them to your next show because you're going to have all these email addresses. So those are my Bazaar tips. You like them?
Yeah. Which brush are you using?
I'm just using that bright brush.
You're still using that half-inch bright?
Half-inch bright. And coming around, I want it a little bit greener next to this steeple, but I want it kind of this blue spot in here, and I'm just you barely see this. All right, we're just sort of making this up here as we go, but you like it? And this is sort of, this takes a few layers, all right? So let's see, you saw I'm all out of white paint. I'm just gonna leave the cap out of this because I'm annoyed with it now. Okay, here's some white, a little bit more phthalo blue. It's a little bit brighter now than we had in the other background. I'm brightening this blue up just a hair right in here. This is where I want the brightest blue. Barely touch it as I go over this, like that. Barely touch it, okay? Now, all right, so as long as we're happily in the blue, and kind of, if you need to, write down how you made it. Now let's take more of the blue, a little bit of the brown, a little bit of the blue. Let's come under here like this, a little bit more brown, maybe a tiny bit of ultramarine blue with a tiny bit of yellow. Just a drop. Here, just a little bit more yellow, ultramarine blue, there you go. Kind of this deeper blue here, almost a blue-green turquoise color. A little bit more brown with that. Just a touch of brown will gray it just a bit. Okay, let's just come under here, around here. I'm just going to darken this. This is our first layer of the snow. You're going, seriously? Yeah, and then maybe some of this color in here, like that, just a touch. Okay, so now while that's drying, because that's my darkest, I'm going to take some more blue. Now I'm a little bit darker, do you see that? And mix that in, and come into here like this, and just going back and forth now into more of this turquoise blue, kind of going like this. Because this is all layered. This is what I'm saying. This is all layered, and some of the dark shows through. Now your brush strokes are going down in this case. More white. I'm going to come up here like this. No water on the brush here. I'm just painting as I go, and my brush strokes are going down, and I'm suggesting a hill here by the direction of the brush stroke. See what we're doing? See, we're saying this is a hill. And because you've got all these colors on the brush, it's not just one color. Don't sit there and mix and mix and mix. You want to do this with a little bit of different colors, maybe a little bit of more yellow, a little bit of greener color here, in here like that. Different colors coming down this way. And we're going to kind of level out the brush strokes so we get to the bottom. So you see how we've created these hills? And maybe take a little bit of white here, and we've got a little bit more white coming this way. Kind of lighten this up. And I'll go back over this, but I'm pretty much getting my values in here of lights and darks, saying there's that. Now, this brush goes in water. We have to find something smaller to do the building with. Didn't know this was this easy, did you? You're just going, wow, it seemed hard, but it's really not. Here's this little smaller angle brush. It's a number 10 short-handled ruby satin silver bright brush. And we're going to go back into these green tones, and we're going to come back over here. I know that sounds kind of silly, and we're going to paint this roof kind of this green color. Okay? And what other questions, John, why I'm painting this roof this green color?
Someone wanted to know, we have a lot of new members. And
Hi, new guys.
And they're kind of confused as to why am I painting a dark background and then putting light all over top of it? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, because it's muted it.
It's what?
It muted this. Look at the finished thing. This dark shows underneath. It mutes it. These colors are very muted because we did it that way. Try it the other way and you won't get the same result.
It'll be more brighter.
Yeah, it'll be brighter.
And another person asked, if I only have a black canvas, can I use that instead of the blue?
Sure. Won't matter.
Nope.
Might be better. Might be better. Show us. You know, if you haven't joined our Ginger Cook acrylic painting club on Facebook, we invite you to just pop over there and fill out the questionnaire and apply for membership. It's free, but we're only letting in people that paint acrylics. Basically, it's for you guys to show us your artwork, maybe you paint and to meet other artists. Okay, and that's where we're at there with that. So we love it if you would.
I'm sure one of the moderators put the link in to the Facebook group.
And we've got and speaking of moderators, we've got the nicest people that moderate our club, and you'll see me come along every day and make comments on paintings. You know, one of the things that happens on my website, gingercooklive.gallery, is one of the. I have an art academy for those of you who may not know, and one of the things I offer is personal art coaching. But I have been known to, if you want help with a painting from our group, you post up a picture, and you put CC on it, capital CC, and that means that you want some constructive comments. All right, and only constructive comments. No one's allowed to say anything negative. They'll just be they'll be out on their ear. We're not interested in trolls. Okay, saying mean things to anybody. It's that we're all very sensitive as artists. Nobody needs any meanness said anywhere. Okay, so so anyway,
zero tolerance.
Zero tolerance for anything other than love and light, man. So anyway, here's this roof, and we're going to paint that on. And I'm going to kind of square it away here, straighten it up just a little bit.
Ivy would like to know: do you have any advice for creating a color journal?
No, that's a different channel. I'm sure someone does. Those are the craft people. Isn't that what you do? Those are the craft people.
Wait a minute. Isn't a color journal what you told people to create?
Oh, yeah, that journal. I'm thinking about like a scrapbook or something.
That's not what she said. A color journal. Are you paying attention over there?
No.
Okay. As long as we understand.
All right, color journals. We have a whole video on how to do that. How to make a color journal. You should make one. That's my advice. And I showed you, and I have a video on how to do it. So there, right?
Yeah, so there.
So there, all right.
Figured out where it is, though.
It's under color mixing, under the
YouTube playlist?
YouTube playlist, color mixing.
Look under Ginger's YouTube playlist, color mixing, and you'll find the tip on making
color
a color
mixing
journal.
Videos, and you'll find one on how to do a journal.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, now look what we've got so far, see? And you see this dark has kind of helped us do that, right? And
good.
I mean, this is very loose. People think, really, we're just using different shades of lights and darks and the blues. I'm going to say this side's a little bit lighter. So here you go. This side of our boxes. This box is a little bigger than that side.
Laura would like to know why you are not using a scrumbling brush. Is that the short little stubby things?
Oh, I could have, but it's a little hard to cut in around them. I would have maybe if I hadn't been trying to cut in around the barn. You know what I mean? Got to cut in around the barn here, and that's not quite as easy.
You basically use your older brushes anyways for your
Yeah, I use my older brushes. I'm going to trash them up a little bit like this. Let's take a little ultramarine blue and add to that now and put a little ultramarine blue in this color. See, right now I'm just laying in, kind of boxing in colors. That's all we're doing here. A little bit of white, a little bit of brown, a little bit of blue. All little shades of turquoises. It's kind of nice here like this. Right now we're just, like I say, we're just boxing in colors. We're not being too perfect, see that? We're just saying that, we're just trying to find, different layers. Acrylics are all about layering. That's the trick. So I want to take a little bit darker green now, which a little bit of brown and blue. And I want to come up back in here like this, and I'm just going to suggest a little pine tree, like that. I'm going to say that there's a pine tree back here, and maybe back up here there's one, starting up at the top, a little tiny bit like that. There's a little bit of a pine tree right here, a little bit bigger one. Just kind of suggesting, I'm just kind of suggesting a pine tree, but just in shape. It's just shapes, you guys. Just shapes. Skinnier up at the top. Okay. Now I'm going to get a little bit darker now with the yellow and the blue and the brown. Okay, and make a darker green. I'm going to come up right here like this. Now I'm going to be a little bit more careful with this one. Okay. This is my darkest one. Let's do a little bit more blue with that. Darken this up here.
Roxanne's got a question for you.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I have 2 questions for you.
Okay.
What sizes of canvas paintings, not on boards, just canvases cut from a roll, should I get ready to sell online? And how would you suggest I store those canvas sheets?
Well, I'm not sure why you're doing it that way. I mean,
either.
somebody's got to, what are they supposed to do with them after they buy them? You know, I mean, that's the question here. I want this a little bit lighter here.
Michelle, thank you very much for the donation for hot tea and honey.
Oh, thank you very much. How do they donate,
accordingly.
John? I think, did you know only during the live shows you can donate? Did you guys know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's true.
Well,
Only
you can
during-
only donate
you know,
YouTube during the
on
live shows.
YouTube. Yeah, you can also always donate on our website. I'm going to bring
Always.
this tree down, right, a little bit right here.
Yeah.
I think I want this one a little bit down. Okay, and I'm going to come on over here with a little ultramarine blue in yellow, more of a pine, darker pine tone. And I want to come back over here, and I'm going to just make these sort of shadow trees that are back here into the background. See that? We're just suggesting some pine trees back here like this. Very teeny up at the top. You know, if you've been out looking at Christmas trees this year, you know that they're wider at the bottom, skinnier at the top, right? Like this. Okay, and we're going to say that there's some trees. Remember that in order for this, wherever there's a light, there's a dark. So if I want this this church to show up, I just have to make some darker trees there. And I'm going to put a little bit of yellow oxide in some of this. And I'm going to change the color of this a little bit too here on this one. And maybe back in here I'm going to suggest something in here. Just barely see this. That there's this little pine forest that we're just pretending nobody sees, okay? So now you see how we've kind of sketched all this in. Okay? Now what? I've rinsed my brush. Well, now we got to kind of clean it up, don't we?
Oh, Roxanne says it's easier to ship them.
Okay, so it's easier to ship them. So are you leaving about 3 inches around for them, extra width, so that they can restretch them? That would be the first thing I'd want to do, is leave 3 inches of border so they can be shipped, so they can be stretched. When I used to send unshipped canvas, I used to roll them up and put them in a tube to send them.
Like we did at Andrews.
Yeah, you'd put them in a tube. You can buy these mailing tubes, right?
Yep.
Okay. And let's see, I want this a little bit darker, a little ultramarine blue here on this side. Let's just come under here like this. I'm going to bring this one over just a bit more, kind of straighten up my...
Yeah, she's giving it the border.
Yeah, you want to do that, right? Okay. Then
She gives about 4 inches.
Okay.
So they can trim room.
Yeah, so they can trim them up, right?
That's good.
And also, I've got a really good video on YouTube on how to stretch a fine art canvas on YouTube, on our playlist on how to stretch a canvas. Now I'm going to go something a little bit darker here. I'm going to put this dark A in here like this. I want this dark A. And right in here, I'm going to check that these eaves are dark. And these are all just in the dark blues. And we're just going to, like I say, kind of come back here and tighten things up. Is that the word for it here? Tighten things up?
Becky said she spoke with Chloe. Done deal.
Oh, did she? I'm so pleased. Oh, you guys. All right. So we found.
You're killing me again.
What?
You make me laugh.
All right. So we found this deal. You remember I told you that we'll cruise if there's a deal? We found the deal, you guys. And I don't know how long the deal will last. Sometimes these get picked up pretty fast. We ran across it last week and pounced on it. And but basically, there's a 5-day cruise leaving out of Houston. We're back into white here, right? Leaving out of Houston, out of Galveston, for wait for it, John and I found this for 2 people. Total price for 2 people, inside cabin, $235 a person. That's all your meals, that's everything. On Royal Caribbean, Vision of the Seas. And if anybody wants to know, if you will use the contact us, we will give you the name of the travel agent that secured this for us. It's Zoe. Was that her name? Zoe?
Chloe.
Chloe. Well,
Chloe.
it's close, right?
Oh, closer than you've been all day.
Yeah, I can't. Well, you know what? I don't know anybody named Chloe.
I don't either, but I do now. Chloe's my new best friend.
Apparently. Should I worry?
I don't know. Should you?
I don't know. Should I worry? Oh my gosh.
Her birthday's what was her birthday? Her birthday was the 3rd?
My birthday's the 1st of February.
Hers was the 3rd or 2nd?
Yeah, hers was the 3rd. So, but why does anybody care when Chloe's birthday is? Do we care? I don't care when Chloe's
I'm going to
birthday
send her
is.
a card. She's finding me deals.
Yeah, so, okay. So, anyway, you with me with the white here while we're chatting with John about Chloe? Anyway, as I go, horse, poor me. Poor Ginger, man, you're stressing Ginger out with this Chloe business. But, anyway, I forgot what I was going to say now. Now I'm just like you want to bring the roof down just a little bit here. Like that, see? See, we got some snow on the roof now. It's all layered. All layered. Got a little bit of white fluffy stuff here. It's white in this corner. The whole roof isn't white. Please notice that. The little edge going around here. This is light up here.
It leaves January 31st, 5-day cruise.
5-day cruise, $235 a person, inside cabin.
So it leaves that Wednesday and comes back Monday morning.
We can still do the live shows on Monday. We'll still have them and be live again on Monday. So this is the birthday cruise. So here's the deal. So do you paint along with Ginger? No. But do you want to hang out with Ginger and John? Yeah, we're not going to charge anything to do that. I know some YouTube artists do that. Oh yeah, you can want to talk to me? It's $5. Oh please. But on the other hand, I might paint, and then you might be able to hang out. And if I do paint, we might rope one of you guys into painting with me, or maybe even putting you on film if we have time. We can't guarantee it because you never know if the boat's going to be rocky or, you know, if the weather. You can't guarantee these things. So we don't want to promise anything. But if you go through Chloe, if you book this through Chloe, there's a chance we all might be able to hang out at dinner or the Windjammer for lunch, and we'll know where everybody is and be able to hang out together. I think it would be fun. We like that kind of stuff. Becky did it with us last week, and she had a blast. She'll tell you.
She said she had a blast. We don't really know.
Well, she said she had a blast. You think she lied about it?
Oh, you think she did?
I don't know. She's going again. Of course, Becky, you know, we didn't see a lot of her. She went to the casino in the evening, and she and her husband each won a free cruise. They're, you know, good for them. I'm impressed. All right, so you see what's happening here? See how we're just kind of working our way around the edges of this? And the outside edge here is very white, okay? Now, as long as I'm in white, okay? As long as I'm in white, I'm going to get some mixing white. Put that out. That's your transparent white. No, there's no substitute for this. Go buy it. Sorry.
Whoa!
Zinc white or mixing white. It's a translucent white. So I'm going to rinse the...
My goodness.
Well,
do we have an opinion on that?
Yeah, and I'm right too, man.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, well, just deal with it, man.
Yeah.
Deal with it. All right, so now I'm going to take the mixing white and I'm just going to tap a little bit on these trees back here.
As Becky says, what happens on the ship stays on the ship. Yeah,
but we had a really good time and hung out and talked art, and she showed me a bunch of her art, and I was able to
know, I can't show one of her pieces. He sent that.
Oh, yeah, Becky is such a talent, and in fact, I showed one of her pieces to a girlfriend of mine in California today. I was so impressed with it. Even though Becky's been an Academy member and taken lessons from me forever, she's always has been doing art. She's just one of these people that's willing to expand her knowledge. She's already a wonderful artist. And she survived. She's a Houstonian and survived the floods.
Okay, and I popped it up there.
Look at this painting that she came up with. You know, isn't that fantastic? I mean, that's just awesome. So you can't beat that. You know.
There you go, Becky. Your 15 seconds of fame.
And listen, Becky, if the Becky Master Sermons, Sermons, Sirmans, Sermons. right? If you go to Facebook and you're interested in her stuff, she's doing prints of that. My girlfriend in California bought one. She can order them. Anyway, I just thought that was kind of really cool. All right, we're just going to come up here to just tap on a little of this mixing white in the background because we don't want to talk about these trees. We put them in, and then you kind of erase them. Does that make sense?
No, why would you put them in and erase them?
Because then it's called atmospheric perspective.
Oh, I see what you're
the
doing.
things that are in the background. Keep up.
I'm trying to.
I know you are, John. Keep up.
I'm on a baby screen.
Keep up, baby. Keep up. All right, so now I'm going to take mixing white, or titanium white, and I'm going to come up to this one. Remember, snow falls on the top of the boughs. It's not just anywhere. It's not willy-nilly. It's on the top of the boughs, and they come in front. It's not a herringbone pattern. All right, like that. See that? See this tree? Joot, joot, joot. And you always have some dark underneath. See how easy that is to make that? And we'll do a little bit more on one of these. We'll just bring one of these forward, I think. And I didn't know if we're going to say this one's a little bit closer than that one back there. You can see it. There's something in here like that. All right, so now...
Miss Brooke, thank you for your donation. I appreciate it.
How do they make donations, John? I forget what you tell people.
They can either go to the website or there's a little $sign right underneath the say something where you chat if you're on a non-iOS Apple device.
Oh, speaking of that, we heard a rumor.
Uh-oh.
We heard a rumor, and you want to check it out if you're thinking of buying high-tech. One of the nice things about watching your painting lessons or anything on YouTube is being able to put it over on your television. And the new TVs, I think, have a YouTube app. But some people are still relying on, Amazon sells something called what do they call theirs?
The Fire Stick.
Fire Stick. And the rumor is, and I would check
TV.
with them before I bought one, the rumor is that they may not support YouTube. Well, that's like practically sacrilegious, isn't it? What do you mean you don't support YouTube?
Well, they're in negotiation with YouTube as we speak.
So whatever it is, friends, if you're, just think about that.
Something to keep in mind.
Something to keep in mind if you're, because there is all these devices. We met a gal in Florida last spring, and she was explaining to us that she actually had lost vision in an eye, in her eyes. Her eyes just quit seeing one day, and the doctor said it was from watching everything on her little tiny phone. So she went and got a bigger phone. But whenever you can,
it's still a phone.
It's still phone, and I'm not saying that would happen to everybody. I'm just saying that something to be. I mean, I wasn't aware that was even possible. I remember Mother used to come around, turn on the lights, and say, "Don't read in the dark; you'll ruin your eyes." And I just thought she was making it up. You know what I mean? But apparently not.
Turn a light on when you watch television.
Remember that too. You're gonna, you don't know how much of that stuff is true, but apparently some of it was.
Yeah,
right.
Roku still works. Apple TV still works. They both support. And Chrome, what are the Chrome sticks called?
Yeah, you want to just be aware of what your tech, the new rules for your tech. That's all I'm saying. If they've changed something, you want to know before you end up spending your hard-earned money on something like that. So we're going to come under here like that, do a little shadow under here, do a little shadow under here, maybe in this corner, and come down like this, darken this corner right up right like that. All right, so you can see how we're building this house. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? This building.
Now, this is a very limited palette of colors, isn't it? What are we using tonight?
Yeah, just ultramarine blue, burnt umber, brown, a little cad red medium, which we haven't done yet. I want to do something a little darker right here. Then I want to lighten
Mixing
up
white,
this.
titanium, yellow oxide, and
Yeah, we're just making different colors of greens, isn't it?
very, very, very limited colors.
Yeah, limited color, and I'm just sort of, I'm just playing with my lights and my darks. So if I took a black and white picture of this, what would it look like? That's what I'm asking myself. I want this side a little bit lighter, right here, right there, and just playing with it a little bit. We're going to put some windows in a minute, but you can see how we're painting this. There's a shadow here underneath where the chimney is. See that? Kind of, there's a shadow, and then the rest of this is kind of white, coming around here like this, and then just use the side of your brush, and so you don't have any hard lines. Just keep building up the layers. That's all you're doing. just building up the layers, and we're going to come along here like this now with some white, and build up some layers here like this in front of the building. And if you've got part of the building you don't like, add more snow. You can vary a little bit. All right, I'm going to say that in front of this, I want this lighter. I'm going to add some more snow here. Just moving along. So any more questions, John?
Well, yes, there is. I'm not quite sure. I got to scroll back up a sec. Hold on, I got to find it.
Okay, so we sit here snuffing along with our little colds.
Stop. Stop. We're doing fine.
Mr. Snuffle officers.
Ginger, no, please announce what colors you're using, which we had you do.
Yeah, I did. Didn't I?
Kind of.
I mean, kind
Please
of.
tell Ginger I'm lost with what colors.
Well, we're just using the same blues and greens, you guys. We're just, these are all shades of blues and greens.
Okay,
you know, we're using
colors.
phthalo blue, white.
Okay, wait. Here's the question. She's mixing colors and building layers. I'm lost on what colors she's mixing.
All right, so look, there's shades of lights and darks of this turquoise. We're making a turquoise blue green color.
It's a very monochromatic image.
Yeah, and for instance, you know, if we added, you know, for instance, a little ultramarine blue, for instance, which we've never done yet, then that makes it a little bit, you know, if I put a little bit of blue in here for shadows on this side, but it's all basically to make it turquoise blue, it's phthalo blue, white, tiny bit of yellow, a little bit of burnt umber. So it's either a lot of that color or hardly any of that color. The more white, the lighter, the more blue and green and browns, the darker. So basically what we've done here is, is just created a little forest, absolutely made this nifty little forest, just using very few colors. Using everything's either lighter or darker than something else. Does that make sense? I'm going to make this tree a little bit bigger here. There, so that tree, just make sure that that tree is in front. And so, like for instance, here, where our windows are, we're going to do white. Okay, I'm going to just make a round window here, like that. And I'm going to make two windows like this. Okay, like that. We're going to say here's two windows here. And I'm going to do white first because yellow paints over white better. We're going to have a window here. Maybe one on this side too, a little window on this side. Okay, so far so good, right? And let's just put some more white in here, like that. Everything's layered. That's all I can tell you. It's all layered.
Now, another thing you can do, you know, this is being recorded. You can rewatch it on YouTube, and you can slow her down under the little wheel, your little settings. Slow Ginger down so you can see. You'll watch her mix the palette. That's why the palette's there, so you can see what she's doing.
See, now I want a little bit greener over here, this side. So I'm just kind of covering up this. The brighter light blue is right there. Okay. So if I took some white and just phthalo blue, right, like that, right? That's really strong. You see that? So then I'd wipe my brush and come over here and just ignore that pile and come over here to make a lighter blue. And I want this a little bit lighter even in here. Just this little spot of the sky, just a little bit lighter. And this works the best when you layer it like that. And I might put a little bit of this light blue kind of around this side right here so our steeple shows up like that. See, you just kind of blend that in, right? There's our white. Let's add a little bit of mixing white to that.
Isabella, thank you very much for the donation.
Well, thanks, Isabella.
It will go to our Get Healthy fund of honey and tea.
I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
No. It's like typhoid. You know, here they see me coming. Go, oh my gosh, there's Typhoid Mary. You know, stay back, right?
That's all we need. We'll be banned from Royal Caribbean forever.
Okay, so I want to now. All right, you see what we've got so far, right? So I know that, for instance, one of the things I want is a rounder window, right? So I'm going to come around here like this and kind of using just the bluer color, kind of fix that window. And maybe make this up into a little arch here, arch these. And I'd like to be able to dry it, but I'm just going to put this down for a second, right? Let everything dry rather than get the hairdryer out. I think I want to do that.
Denise would like to know,
yeah.
Do you paint the sides of your canvas?
Well, we do sometimes, and I'll tell you why we do. It's because if somebody doesn't, well, you know, we sell these. Eventually, this will end up in an auction, one of our art auctions. Not everything we do, but some do. And if somebody doesn't want to frame it right away, so I like to paint the sides, but you don't have to. And of course, on a gallery wrap, you would. Right? A gallery wrap, you would definitely paint the sides.
Now, the gallery wrap is just considered thicker, right?
Now, one thing I'm going to get out right this red hot minute is nobody pays me to say this, please. Nobody pays me to tell you about these guys. These are the acrylic, they're for heavy-duty cleaning wipes.
Slide it up a little bit. Slide it up.
Durable weave, 10 by 12, industrial strength formula. I get these on Amazon. We have a link if you're interested. I found these this year. These are for paint. These take paint off. I used to just use the scrub brush and, you know, comb it to get my hands clean, or all kinds of different things. And look what this does. And it has a little, doesn't smell, doesn't leave your hands sticky. And I just wanted to show you some other stuff while I'm letting this dry for a minute. And while this is drying, see, look at that. Aren't you impressed? It all goes off on the towel. And also it'll take dried paint off of furniture, you know, off of couches and chairs.
Couches and chairs.
Well, you know, like a leather couch or something, if you got some paint on it or something. You know, you got it on your clothes and then you sat. Didn't you ever do that? No? Oh, well.
Sock folder.
Sock folder. He doesn't do it. But I want to make sure my hands were clean. You can see how dirty the rag is.
Which I appreciate before you grab finished art.
Well, I know, and it seems to bother you if I grab it with dirty hands, so I just sort of wipe my hands on a towel. I wanted to show you that one of the things we try to do, besides giving our YouTube friends a new video every week, at least one, sometimes two videos every week. You guys get new videos. Last week, while we were gone, we pre-recorded this video of how to do an abstract, okay? And even though this looks like it's all silver, the original underpainting on this was orange. Isn't that cool? People always say, well, why do you paint something like this? Now, why would you do it small like this? Because if you're going to, this is a stunning piece, huge. But you don't want to waste a lot of paint. You got to get your design first. And so in this video, I explain the kind of the ins and outs of doing abstracts. And then for our Academy members, which is a separate website where we have subscribing members that either do it by the week or by annually or by the month, this is the same abstract, varnished and done on actually a piece of metal board that's designed to be painted on. Isn't that cool?
Clad.
Isn't that, don't you love that? Look at how those colors just zing. I want you to see the difference. See? They're pretty, of course I haven't varnished this, but isn't that, don't you just love these electric blues in here, right?
And what kind of paint did you use on that?
And this we used was acrylic gouache.
By
Turner acrylic gouache for both of these. And I like general acrylics. You can use your real acrylics. It wouldn't matter. I mean, you say real acrylics.
Well, I was going to say, well, you know, Turner's not going to like you say that.
You could use your normal heavy-body acrylics, but I like the Turners because they travel. And when John and I are traveling, a little tiny paint kit, a little tiny bit goes a long ways, and they're really heavily pigmented. Okay, and you can see how bright these colors are. I mean, look at this. Look at these blues and purples. Isn't that gorgeous? I mean, that's just, I think, stunning. Okay. So we had that, and I wanted to show you. So if you want to know how to do, you know, this was this video lesson is on our gingercooklive.gallery website, because every week our members try to do it on Thursday, but at least by Saturday our members get new lessons. And like the week before for Thanksgiving, we did this field of poppies. And again, this is available gingercooklive.gallery. And if you want to try us for a week for $9.95, I invite you to do it. You have access not just to this lesson, but over 350 other lessons. Whatever you can paint in a week, you know, it's like going to a candy store. It's great. Our annual memberships, you save 2 months free, and we have, if you are members are grandfathered into the price that you signed up with. If you stay with us, you're always grandfathered in.
Speaking of that, prices are going up January 1st.
So you want to lock your prices in for now, okay?
And yes, we did varnish that aluminum one.
Yeah, with one.
Because
we
the
did
paint's
varnish
just going
it.
to sit right on the surface. It doesn't have anything to absorb into.
We did varnish it, and here's what I would tell you. Having done it with the brush-on varnish, we varnished it with the Liquitex gloss varnish. I probably would next time have used, because of I'd never painted on metal before. Daniel Elliott from Jerry's Autorama gave me some, and it has two sides and you can peel off either side. One's kind of dull and one's real shiny, and paint on it. But the fingerprint problem of just touching this was a challenge. And so I would say I probably would have recommended maybe spray varnish on this one, having done both. But I love how it brought out the colors, don't you?
Yeah.
I think that's really pretty.
Well, I like the brush
and imagine this 30 by 40. I mean, this is a really pretty piece. So we have that. And
what do we have for this week?
This week, our members are going to get, can you believe this? Look at this.
No, I cannot believe that.
Look at that. Look at these books.
Let me turn off the palette cam for a second.
Look at these books.
Look at that. That is just, you do that yourself?
Yep, and this is, I just love this. Of course, I'm a person that reads, so the paintings like this mean a lot to me. We do so many different kinds of paintings on our website because not everybody wants to paint the same thing. This will be for our members, sort of, we thought you guys might really enjoy this. And this was from one of our old dead artists. And he had a bunch of torn bits of paper and labels and stuff on his, and I custom made them for me, and I would suggest everybody do that too. But don't you love that? Isn't that just cool? I love this. So we have a whole series of book paintings by him.
And this is a box of cookies, right?
Yeah, this is a pretty challenging lesson. But look at the blending. See here? It's not that different than what we're doing here, right? Just different colors. Just keep that in mind.
It's all step by step.
Last week we did, for our members, we did this one.
Yeah, I like that one.
And again, this was a beautiful lesson just on learning how to dry brush, which is a different skill than what we're doing tonight, okay? So again, learning all these different techniques to be an acrylic artist, very important. So moving on.
What size is that canvas for the books? Is that a 1020? Or?
This is...
I think that's a 1020.
Yeah, 1020. Doesn't say on the back, but yeah, I think this is 1020 for the books.
Yeah.
I love this old yellow wood. Look at the desk with the chips in it and everything. I mean, everybody had a piece of wood like that, furniture in their house. Didn't you have something look kind of like that? You know, and this was done, the original was done in 1860 or something.
Could that be a 1220? Do you have a ruler handy or not? I'll grab one over on my
I don't know.
Okay, I'll
Excuse
check
me?
that.
All right, so now we had to just give this a chance to dry. Now I'm going to take a little bit of yellow, Cad Yellow Medium, a tiny bit of yellow, like that, right?
I think Nicole wanted to know, are you going to do a master class on horses?
We don't have time.
It's not going to happen anytime soon, but
We will have one eventually, but not anytime soon, Nicole, because we don't have time. Okay, so we're just, yellow just paints happily over white. Now I'm going to take a little bit of mixing white now with that. Now look what happens to this snow here, where we're going to say that there's some light on it from the windows here like that. Maybe a tiny bit of Cad Red Medium with that.
this is 10 by 20.
Okay, 10 by 20. Okay, here's a little bit of Cad Red, just a touch where the snow is, all right? So far, so good. You guys are with me so far? A little bit of that. Now, what I want to do next, while that's drying, okay, I mean, this is a very, very simple painting. Again, if you'd done this as a red schoolhouse or maybe a barn, you could have made this a lot of different things. We're going to take a toothbrush before we get too far, and I'm going to wet it. Then I'm going to tap it off on a towel, and I'm going to come into my white paint like this, and put a little tiny bit of water on the brush, just a drop, come around here like this. Is the palette cam on?
Yes, the palette cam is on.
Okay, now I'm going to hold it up, just tap it like this, and then scrape my thumb, and I'm going to just do this on the sky, and a little bit on my trees.
I'll zoom in a little bit on the activity.
Okay, just a tiny bit on here like this, okay? Just on the background here like that, just a little bit of snow on here, okay? Not much, just a little bit. Just use your thumb like that. We'll do a little more later, but that's just all that we needed to do there. Good to know, right?
Gives a nice effect.
Yeah, it's a nice effect, okay? And let's see, what else could we do? Well, one of the things I want to do is put a tree going up through here. Now, here's where I would tell you to just stop and dry everything. I'm going to take a little more mixing white, and I'm going to kind of brighten the snow on this one, like that. Just say this one's a little brighter, that tree. Just kind of bring that forward a little bit, and you can do that by making it a little bit lighter, okay? And all right, so I know that right here I've got a little light post. Let's put that in while we're playing around, right? And a little bit of white and yellow. And I come up about just here, and I'm just going to make a little box about right like that.
How many cookies would you classify this lesson?
It's a couple cookies. It's really pretty easy, really, when you think about it, because it's just, I'm explaining it to you as we go, and it's fun. You know, when I was a kid, it snowed in Seattle, a lot more than it does today. And my dad had a Jeep, old Army Jeep, and that he got Army surplus from World War II, I guess, World War II. Not that old. And he would pull all the kids around with the sleds. You know, we had all these hills, and we'd sled down these big long hills, right? And the streets were cut off because it was all full of snow. We lived out in Bellevue. In those days, wasn't Microsoft. There's none of those people. It was just the sticks, and so there was nobody plowing the streets. You had to wait till it melted. So the schools all closed. A little bit more cad red here as we're talking. So he'd get that.
We'd like to thank Anna for the donation.
Oh, thank you very much, Anna. So he'd get the Jeep going, right, you guys?
Oh, Nicole wants to know about the horses running in the surf. What about the horses running in the water that you showed us during the spring, huh?
Oh, I'm working on that one. I'm going to show you this. I want to show you the pictures, and this is a book that my dad wrote. Let me see if I can find the pictures of our Jeep. I was going to show you the pictures of our Jeep. Here's the picture of myself when I was a kid.
Hold on. Now hold it still so I can zoom in a little bit.
Okay.
Now, which one are you?
I'm the youngest. That's me.
Oh yeah.
And that's my pony Buster.
Buster.
And that's my dad's Jeep. And
I like that Jeep.
That's my brother Dennis and Jay and Jensen, and let's see who else is in here. My sister. And that was the judge that adopted all his kids, and my adopted mother, Lucille. And everybody's pretty much croaked except for me and Jay. We are the only two still living in this picture. How creepy is that? But anyway, that was my pony. That was our Jeep. And then this was when my sister and I liked to ride horses, and we did Western pair classes, and this was Nanky Poo and Yum Yum. And that's me, and that's my sister. She was like 5'2", and I got to be almost like 5'10", and we looked like we didn't come out of the same nest. And there's a picture of myself when I was a kid finding a seal at camp. I was probably about 6. Look an awful lot like Cinnamon's daughter, Luna. So wanted to share that with you. People say, well, what did you guys do? That's what we did, okay? So that being said, let's find a tiny brush and finish this. Let's see, what do we got? Some little pointy brush, doesn't really matter. Little bright brush. We want some dark brown and ultramarine blue. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a little hat on top of our, like a little triangle, on top of our little box that we did here. I didn't sand this canvas, and I'm kind of sorry I didn't, because it's a little rough, but you got to go with me here on this. Here you go on each side.
Yeah, one thing you want to remember to do before you start is sand the canvas.
Yeah, and then down one side. See my lantern?
Is that book still available?
Is that book still available? Yeah, it's called. I don't know if you can find a copy on Amazon. It's called The Sword and the Gavel by William J. Wilkins.
The Sword and the Gavel.
Yeah, he was a judge on the Nuremberg trials, and it's the last of the Nuremberg judges. Okay, and he and his wife Lucille Wilkins, they adopted my whole family when I was a kid. All right, so now I'm going to come straight under this like this, come down like that, and make a post, and then say, here's our post, a little bit wider here, like that. Here's our lamp post. I'm not making a big tall lamp post, but just something like that. And then as long as we're in these little tiny areas, let's come around here like this. I had to let something dry, and so we either had to show you the book or run a hair dryer, which is, this book maybe was more fun, right? Coming around here like this, kind of outline this. You don't have to do it too perfect. This has to have some sort of outline. I want this a little bit darker eaves right here, under here like that. And this is the, here's the door, like that. Now, I'm going to put a little bit of water in there. There's my, you always want a little bit of water near you. Sometimes you just need a drop of water on your brush to make it flow and then tap it off. And so here we go, like this, like that, there we go. And I need a little tiny bit going around in the circle like that, little round window like that. And now I want to put some little windows up here like that. Sound good? Little windows like that, okay? In there like this. And again, you could Google old buildings. I'm telling you, it would take so very little to turn this into a schoolhouse and make a bell there, you know? Make that whole thing, you know, a bell thing. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be anything. It could be just again, an old-fashioned chimney. It could be just somebody's ski cabin or something, okay? All right, so we've got that now. We've got our post. Now, I think this is dry enough where we can feel pretty confident in doing our tree. Now, what I would suggest is that you take some chalk and you kind of mark where you think you want your tree. If I'm coming up about, say, 3 fingers here, and I know I want it kind of, I'm going to put a few lines where I want it to go here like this. Let's try some darker chalk. Maybe I have, what do I have? Some brown. So I know I want something here, right? Kind of just a few dots here. I know it's going to V right here. Kind of just put some, just a few dots so you know where you're going. Does that make sense? Then it's going to fork up here. And then I'm using one of these art sharper brushes. This is a 1/2 inch long-handled angle, the first one of its kind. I love this. We're going to take some burnt umber and a little ultramarine blue, make a dark brown, and I'm just going to come up here like this using the angle brush, and I'm going to say I've got a tree going this way. Make sure that you've got it flat on your brush like this. There it is. I'm just sort of drawing in where it's going to go. And here's this one, a little tiny bit of water just on there. Like that. Want this, then wipe it off, pinch it off, like this. A little bit more paint. Okay, it's going to fork here. I'm going to say it's, look at the tiny lines I can get. Aren't you impressed with this? Look at these little tiny thin lines, because I'm doing the thin branches. Maybe got one crossing over here. If I made this a schoolhouse, red, for instance, if I had done this as a schoolhouse, then I might have made this tree a little differently and put a swing here. I mean, you know, you got to use your imagination, right? So, all right, we're out of brown. So let's get some more of that color out. Come on, out you go. All right, a little bit more brown paint here. Okay, so I know I want my tree wider at the base. Okay, like that, and it gets skinnier as it goes up, right? Here we go. It's a little bit skinnier as it goes up. This is where it's forking, and then this one's kind of coming this way. You'll see me reload the brush. Okay. How are we doing on time? Am I doing pretty good, John, on this?
I think you're doing fantastic, Ginger.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
I think I'm going to put a little cad red medium with this, warm this up a bit. Tap this off. You'll see that with it. There you go. Look at that. Just using the hairs of this brush to get these nice thin lines. Trees are always wider at the base and they get thinner. So you don't want them fat in the middle. Okay, like that. So I'm going to have this trunk coming down like that. That looks pretty good. And I think I've got another one coming up here like that. I'm going to say that there's this. There was a glob of paint on there. I didn't want that. So here's this one, and maybe I'm going to have this come on up here like this. Now, all right, so here's what happened. You've got a blob. What do? Take a clean brush, water, rinse, wipe, swipe, and just sneak along here like that and erase it. Rinse, wipe, swipe. See? No worries, you guys.
No big deal.
Just erase what you didn't want. Do you know you could do that? Just erase. But if you've got to make sure everything's dry, otherwise you're going to be erasing the color underneath. Here, let's just load this paintbrush up here a little bit with some paint. And I'm going to say this is coming this way. I'm going to pinch it and start again. All right, so I'm going to say that now we're going to add another branch coming this way. Okay. Okay, and then let's see. Maybe I've got another tree kind of off camera that's doing this. And I need a little bit more water on this. There we go. Start here and say this tree's a little bit wider. Coming this way. Maybe branching off like this. All right, so there's that tree, and I think I want that one's thinner. So easy enough to do. Just thin this out right here like this. Just like that. There, look how easy that is. So you got something. Now we have to bury them in snow, but right now this is the base. And I think what's happened is I'm out of paint. So let's try some more paint. That always is a good solution to anything, see? Because these brushes are pretty stiff, so it's going to have a tendency to want to erase the paint also. It's a pretty stiff brush. Okay, so now I know I've got a branch kind of going over here like this. Little tiny bit of water on this. Pinch it.
A couple of people have found the book on Amazon. They bought them, and they're sold out now.
Oh my gosh. How crazy is that?
Well, it's out of print. You have to find somebody that's got one laying around.
Yeah, I'm surprised anybody even has them. I'm shocked that they're still around. All right, so now what I want to do is take a little bit of yellow and red, make an orange color, and add that to my brown mixture. And I want to just sort of warm up these trees just a little bit like that. Just put a little red with it now that I've got the basis for this, right? Now I've got a little thin spot like there. I'm going to kind of thicken up the trunk down here at the base like that. And then you can always add more width to a tree. Just start them off real thin and just add something as you go up. Does that make sense? Okay, so those are those two trees. Now, while that's drying, let me just show you how we're going to put the people in. We got some people, okay? So what you're going to do is you've got a little bit of a head and a body like this, and then you're just going to put some sort of coat on them like this. They're so small that this is, see what I mean? And then the little people are just shorter like that. I mean, this is like that, see? El kiddo, right? And a grown-up, right, person. And you make this a little longer like that. So I've got these people all sort of wearing red jackets. You know, they're all in some sort of red with some dark. I mean, we're barely saying anything. I mean, they're suggested in here because they're so far away, right? See that? See how far away they are? So these are so itty-bitty tiny that they don't have to say much. So we're just going to say, first off, I want to add a little bit more color to my snowbank here, right? I want to bring a little bit more. See, do I have enough white here? I want to bring a little bit more white, kind of coming up here a little bit more like this. Kind of narrow the snowbank down a little bit here like this. Kind of come this way, kind of. Okay, and then I'm going to take a little bit of white here, just on my brush, and just suggest some snow. Kind of coming this way. And, oh yeah, let's make some more kind of blue snow. A little bit of yellow, kind of that blue-green color snow. With a little bit of brown, yellow, and blue, phthalo blue, right? Let's see, we're all out of white paint. Let's get some more of that. And I want to come in front of our trees like that, kind of bury them. right, like that. And I'll just put a few, maybe a little bit ultramarine blue, tiny bit of that. Just, that's too dark. Wipe the brush with a little water here and just kind of blend that in. Little tiny bit. The ultramarine blue is a nice color for contrast, right? So we're going to say, ooh, got that lighter.
Hey, we'd like to thank Eric for the donation.
Oh, thank you so much.
Greatly appreciate it.
Now I'm going to come along here like this with the white and come along here and just sort of tap it on the tree here like this and suggest that this tree's got some snow on it. These trees are just there, just something like that. We're just trying to push these trees back. They didn't need to say much, right? That's what, you know, you've got some trees there, but you don't want them talking a lot. Okay, somewhere was a little brush. Okay, and then I'll take this little tiny brush here and say I've got a little tiny branch going up here like this. Just some little tiny ones, like this. Up here like this, and then we'll put some white on them later. All right. Okay, so there's our trees. So far, so good. Here's our post. We might put a little bit of white right here. Oh, that's not good because that looks like a dirty, clean brush. Use this brush. All right, here's some white, little tiny bit of the gold paint, a little bit of yellow, light yellow. And I want to say that maybe where this lantern was, there was some lighter color. Maybe in here like this on the flat. I was going to put the people in too, but I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of white on our lamp post. Put some white coming under in front of this like that.
Nicole wants to know, does it matter the direction of the brush?
Yeah, the brush strokes have to go down this way for the snow, across this way for this part because we're saying this is flat, and like this because we're saying this is not. Does that make sense? So saying this is a hill here. So yeah, your brushstroke direction really does, it says what something is. Okay, so you bet it makes a difference. So that being said, okay, here's a small brush. Let's do our people. Let's just take some brown paint here. And right about here, we're going to put a little person, little head, little body, little head, little body. It's almost like it's like an eye, like you're dotting an eye. Maybe I want this person taller. Okay, I don't know. All right, so that I've got those people in there. They don't look like anything yet, right? So then I'm going to take a little bit of Cad Red Medium and just add some clothes. See, people. Isn't that cute? I mean, you just barely see their legs, and they got a little bit of a head, and there they are. There's your people. And so there's a little red here, and then for your windows, so the detail on your windows, I'm going to suggest a pen, like one of the Posca pens. Here's a brown one, right? And I think you can just go across like this.
We're doing your stained glass.
Like stained glass.
Yeah.
You could do black also, would work. See, I'm going to say that, and you're going to, I would say that would be, that's pretty easy. And then we've got a white one. And so for instance, if you wanted to just, if you needed a few little white highlights on your tree limbs like this, where's my real fine one? Fine point white one.
We have a question from Ireland. They've stayed up until 3 a.m. to ask you this question.
Oh boy, gosh, now I'm feeling on the spot. What can I answer?
This is from Patricia.
Yeah?
I love Ginger. Please ask how I can stop being heavy-handed. I would love her advice. It's 3 a.m. here in Ireland. I waited up. Please help.
Oh, I've got the solution for you, darling. This is easy. This is. I'm so glad you asked, right? So glad you asked. Okay?
Glad you asked, but I'm not going to tell you the answer.
Well, I'm going to tell you. Just give me a second. I'm just concentrating here on my white here, coming around here
gotcha.
on my steeple here, and I've got my star here. I want to put this in. I'm going to answer you, right? Here's my thin line for the star, which does not need to go there. Why not? Because you don't want it right over this tree, because there's a point here, so you got to move it. Okay, there you go. Better to be in between here. So you're just doing. There's your star with white pen. You like that? You can do this with paint too. I just thought I'd show you how to do it with a pen.
And how to erase it with a pen too.
Well, I like these Posca pens because if you didn't like it, well, it's still wet. Now this is important. While it's still wet, you can erase it.
Take the whole thing off.
Where with other pens, it's a done deal when you put it on there. So if you wanted to do it. So here's the thing with being heavy-handed. One of the things you want to do is put this finger out. See this finger? Have this finger brace your hand. Paint from the shoulder. So, you know, or if you're going to do your wrist like a chopstick, hold your brush like you would a chopstick. Thumb here. Maybe the middle finger's pretty loose. This little finger, grow this little fingernail out and use that to keep your hand off the canvas. And that is absolutely one way. I'm just going to put that star in again using white paint. I just wanted you guys to see it. Oh, you could do it with a pen if you were having trouble. Like that, right? There's your little star. And there you go. That's one of the ways you keep from being heavy-handed is that you hold your hand off the brush. You know, hold it off. So you're painting always from your shoulder and not from your wrist. Does that make sense? Yeah, it does, right? Makes total sense, yes? Is that a yes and a yes? Yes and yes? Yes and yes, my beautiful people. That's what they used to say on the ship. Yes and yes, my beautiful people. Now let's kind of get this a little narrower here, like that. And we're almost done. Aren't you guys kind of impressed? We're almost done. And let's see. I want a little bit of ultramarine blue, a little phthalo blue. I want some sort of dirt color here. There, I'm just going to say there's a little shadow where our road is. Okay, coming up to the house, and we're not talking too much. Now, this color and this color are too much the same, right? If we were to take a black and white picture at this point, which is what we'd want to do, of our building, you want to make sure that that you've got your values. You know, you want to differentiate between here and here. Okay. And lighten that up here. And got that one light here. This is dark here. I'm pretty happy with that. This is coming down this way. That's sort of that snowbank. I want you to see that where we've changed the our little kind of blue-gray snowbank. This snowbank's coming down this way. Okay. Keeping it level. This is coming this way.
Patricia says, thanks, Ginger. I'll give that a try. This painting is great and love your stories.
Do you like this? Oh, thank you. All right, so we're going to say that this is the light here by the... All right, so now we're just playing with the lights and darks, you guys. Here's our people. A little bit of white here. Now, do we need to go back and add some white right up here? This is layer 4 or something on the house. On the roof line here. See? Okay, we'll kind of lighten that up. Lighten this up right here.
We had a question from Donna. Did you want snow on the small roof?
Well, it's on the roof, but it's sort of in the shadow, so I didn't put it on there. It sort of is, but I think we could do some icicles maybe, huh? What do you think? I didn't in the other one, but I don't think icicles would be amiss. Maybe we'll just put a little.
Does this picture really have a light source, and where is it?
Well, not really, because it's at night. It's nighttime. So we're just we're kind of.
It's a very flat lit situation.
Very flat lit. Just a few icicles maybe hanging down in a couple places, right like that. I don't think that hurts. I like that. Just a couple. I mean, I like to have icicles. I think that adds to the ambiance. You like that word, ambiance?
Oh, that's a great word.
Ambiance. I need this a little bit lighter right here. Scrub that on here like that. That's a good brush. You can really push hard with this one. Now I'm going to take the toothbrush one more time and go over these trees just a little bit right now, like that. A little bit of water on the toothbrush. Tap it off on the rag, a little bit up there, tap it. And then when I come up here like this, go over these trees just a hair like this. Just a little bit here. Just another dose of there. Just kind of put that in the background so we're not talking that much about these trees. Like that. What do you guys think?
I think you've about had it. Your voice is going.
Voice is gone.
Pretty
It is
much.
gone. Look at that. Got no voice left.
We don't need no stinking voice. We're going
Well,
to
I
do
mean, I
silent
think
movies.
this was sort of fun. Now, what you want to do is now come back with your Cad Red, right? Little brush, and brighten up your peeps.
Your peeps?
There, brighten up your peeps just a hair. Okay? And maybe maybe darken your door. I don't know that this door, I think I'd make this door a little bit bigger than I did. See if that will. Again, this canvas is really rough. This is not the easiest canvas to work with. That's my excuse tonight. Do you like it? This would be better, but my canvas was rough, you know. And I like this window. I want this window. I want to see a window here. There, okay. I think that that's kind of cool. And we've got our, again, our little lantern, which I think is fun. Here's our outside lantern. Make sure you've got your post big enough. Okay, into the snow. And we're good to go. I would say I think that's a wrap, you guys, for, you know, how to do a little thing. And again, if you wanted to do this as a different kind of cottage, you certainly could. Again, just turn it around with little stones and stuff. We've got a cottage like that on YouTube, a little stone cottage with a snowman and everything. Doesn't have to be a church, could be anything. Ha-ha.
A tavern.
Well, you know, I don't think it's a tavern, John.
It could be a tavern. Well, what it could be would be a tavern with some tractors out of it from all the farmers.
No.
And horses. Tractors and horses and chickens.
The chickens would be frozen. They'd be one frozen dead chicken, All right, you guys, this was fun. I hope you'll join us tomorrow night. I have no idea what we're going to paint. I came up with this afternoon at 3 o'clock. So, but I think we kind of captured it, don't you think?
I do. I like the second one better.
Thank you. Well, sometimes when you do something again, it has a tendency to be slightly better.
Yes, it does.
It's just, you know, you can't help it, but sometimes. Just the trick is, you know, make sure you bury all your stuff.
Ooh, bury all your stuff.
You know, like, you know, at angles with your make sure you buried your trees with the snow and everything, right?
I get it.
And, you know, focus it back. But there you go. And I also thought, instead of this star, it would have been interesting to put angels in the sky, too.
That'd be good.
You know, like an angel kind of hovering up here might be interesting. Kind of very subliminal. So
what time tomorrow are we going to be on?
7:30.
Is that Central Time?
That's Central Time.
Oh. Is that Houston time?
That's Houston time.
There you go.
So did we have a good show tonight?
Yes,
and yes. And are you going to subscribe to our channel?
Yes and yes.
Are you going to check us out on gingercooklive.gallery?
Yes and yes.
Yes and yes. And be sure, for sure, you're going to become one of our artists on our Ginger Cook Acrylic Painting Club on Facebook, which is free, and it's a wonderful place to show your artwork, not just my stuff, but let's see what you've been painting, friends. Got a handle. Monique Freeze really just, and Eric really, we're laying it out there, you guys.
Eric, man,
he's been just killing it here.
He's our male spokesman.
We only got
one. We need him.
I have a tendency, so if, we're mostly females, but you guys are welcome. You just have to be artists. We just, that's what we need is artists, acrylic artists, right?
All right, guys. So that's going to be a wrap for tonight. And maybe Sammy can give us an exit. He can. He has the exit intro. Do you have anything else you want to say, Miss?
Yeah, one last thing. My friend, Caitlin, I called her. She takes art lessons from me, and I said, "What you been?" She's been for years. I said, "What you been doing, Caitlin?" And she said she's been painting furniture. I said, "Really?" I says, "Well, just kind of talking. Oh, that sounds nice, blah blah." And she goes, "Well, she has this new fancy acrylic paint, some fancy new thing." And I said, "Really, what does it do?" And so she had all the stuff that this was specifically designed for furniture, and it just stays on there, doesn't crack, and all the stuff. And I'm going, "Well, regular acrylics don't crack." She says, "No, this is totally different stuff." I says, "Well, come show us." So next Tuesday, not tomorrow, but next Tuesday, we're going to bring Caitlin on and have her do a dog and pony show on her new acrylic stuff for furniture. Don't you want to know? I want to know, don't you? I want to see what she's got. If somebody's got something, I want to know about it. We'll see Caitlin next week.
All right. Now are you done?
Yeah.
You sure?
Night.
Good night, Ginger.
Night, John. Night, Sammy.
Good night, Sammy.
Night, you guys.
I'm a student, I say with glee, of Ginger Cook's Academy. Take your time and do not rush. Use ruby satin, silver brush. Don't use black and mix the green. Learn what blend and grayscale mean. Yes, I hope each day to earn coaching praises as I learn. I'll be an artist, wait and see. Ginger means the world to me.